So Patty the fucking Baddie is going to be fighting fucking Bobby Green on UFC 304, and I'm gonna fucking give you my fucking analysis of it. So I feel like this fight depends entirely on Patty's fight camp, because we all know Patty likes to be heavy outside of the cage. You know, he does like to eat, and when he came in against Tony, he just, he tried to he essentially spent all his energy on like one flurry attempt on Tony Ferguson. In other words, he decided to go forward with a flurry of punches, and then afterward, like he nearly did kind of he nearly finished Tony, but in doing so, he kind of wasted all of his energy and was just fucking sluggish the rest of the fight. You could see it on his face, the way he was fighting. He was gassed, just kind of hunching over himself. The blatant expression and just how slow he was. So, Patty just has it really does depend on how Patty takes care of himself, and how important this fight is to him, because again, he likes to be heavy. So when fight camp comes around and it's time to get serious, he's got to cut a fuck ton of weight, and in doing so, he's losing a lot of energy that he could be spending during practice. And then when he gets in there, depending upon the amount of time he's had to prepare, he may have cut too much weight, and then just steps in there and blows all of his energy away on like four consecutive strikes, and that'll be it for him. So against a fighter, like fighting Tony Ferguson and doing that shit is one thing, because again, Tony Ferguson is old as fuck. So you go in there, you blow your wad on fucking like 3 or 4 straight punches, or 2 or 3 punches followed by a head kick attempt, or even a couple takedowns, and then you're fucking gassed for the rest of the fight. Tony Ferguson has about, like, he's just got old man fight strength. So, even though you're gassed, you're dealing with an old guy in there who's just going to, try and hang with you, but not really throw anything that devastating, So, that worked Patty's way in his last fight. I don't think it's going to work his way in this fight. Bobby Green is old. It's late in his career. He just got off of a fight with Jim fucking Miller. He did amazing in that fight. He just battered Jim Miller for all those rounds. Like excellent. I don't want to say like, because it wasn't any defense. His hands were lowered, but he had excellent precision and timing. With Jim Miller striking, he had he displayed his head, had his hands lowered, and then when Jim Miller would come in for something like a 1-2. Bobby Green would push his head back and, like, I want to call it like the sweet science. Like, it is kind of boxing technique. But again, like, he's evading Jim Miller's striking and coming with some pretty devastating counter punches and counter strikes. That was a very great showing for Bobby Green. It was a great showing for Bobby Green. Bobby Green did some amazing shit that fight. He looked amazing. I've always been a Bobby Green fan, and I am a Paddy Pimblett fan. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of you may hate me for that. He's a funny guy. I think the way he handled Ilia Topuria in one of those press conference, UFC press conference events, like he had a back and forth, and I did recommend that you guys watch that back and forth because it was funny as shit. But yeah, Paddy, he's got the accent, he's got the funniness, he's got charisma. Like I like his personality. He's a very funny guy. He's not a great fighter, but he's in the UFC and he's winning. I get, he's winning. So, and Bobby Green, again, coming off of this great performance, I think he's going to look good in there again. I think he's going to study his opponent, and I think he's going to show out, He's had some pretty iffy fights, like his fight against Jalen Turner, but Jalen Turner is a long guy, he's got those long 1-2s where he can catch you and put you to sleep. But Bobby Green, that was a bad showing for him. Against a guy like Jim Miller, he was able to succeed greatly and just batter Jim Miller for all those rounds. Amazing. And in this fight, I think he'll show up. I think Bobby Green will show up, but I'm gonna rely on the youth of Paddy Pimblett, and I'm going to assume Paddy has a good camp. I think he's gonna take care of himself. I think he's gonna take this fight seriously. I think he'll cut the weight. He'll get to where he needs to be. And I think he'll grapple, I think he's going to grapple. I think he's going to try to shoot takedowns. His striking, I don't think his striking is going to be quite on par with Bobby Green. You know, I think Bobby Green's striking is elevated, especially looking back at the Jim Miller fight. The striking was absolutely beautiful. So I think he's going to bring that beautiful striking to this fight. But I feel like Paddy will be ready for it. I think Paddy will be caught with a little bit of things, but none of them will be, you know, able to shake Paddy or like just put him on his ass or anything like that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Paddy's going to be strong in there. He's going to be ready. He's going to be prepared. I think he's going to strike with Bobby. Again, I don't think he's going to strike as well as Bobby Green's doing, but he's going to strike well enough to get in close and shoot takedowns, probably get Bobby Green to the ground, get some control time, maybe even try to get a submission. I don't think it'll be likely. I'm going to go with, if I had to give you guys a specific prediction, I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett winning via unanimous decision. I think Paddy's going to hang in there with the striking. Bobby Green might beat Paddy with the striking, but I feel like the control time will be considerable. I think Paddy's going to be able to get Bobby Green down on the ground. I think Paddy's going to be able to get some submission attempts, and I feel like those are going to be heavy on the judges' scorecards. I think those are going to be weight heavy, and I feel like the judges are going to go with Paddy. I think they're going to choose Paddy either by unanimous or majority decision, and Paddy will win this fight on UFC 304 this month. So, yeah, that's my quick analysis on the Paddy Pimblett-Bobby Green fight that will be on the main card of UFC 304 in this month of July. I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow.